Hey everyone, welcome to USC Report. I'm Asia with Scott Wolf, and we have an exciting game to talk about today.
Yes.
We didn't talk last week and I know you missed us, but could you have predicted such an incredible game against Oregon?
I predicted that it would be a touchdown difference, but I predicted Oregon would win. So
well.
I was wrong about that.
You are halfway semi-right.
Yeah. But no, I didn't expect all the drama, excitement.
Right.
Really, that was one of the craziest games I've ever been to be honest with you. And,
right.
you know, it sounds weird for me to say that, but it really was, because all the games I've seen USC play over the years. But that was wild.
Oh, I was literally exhausted watching. I was so exhausted just because the pacedness of it. My legs hurt. Like, my legs hurt watching them after the game. It was incredible. What was the most spectacular part of the game for you?
I would say, I mean, first off, you know, the noise is so loud there that it's almost deafening at times, and then it was cold, and so the atmosphere was really, it was kind of like a perfect football setting, because that's kind of what you hear about, how games should be cold and noisy. And then I think just like the fourth quarter, the way kind of plays were going against USC, and yet they were still in the lead, and they were hanging on, you know, by their fingernails to win that game. And then probably the play I'll remember is when the guy kicked the field goal to tie the game at the end. It wasn't even watching the field goal. It was the whole stadium was just silent, and all the USC players are running around celebrating. And you can't really hear them because it's a big stadium, but you see all these guys celebrating. Everyone else, 59,000 people, are just like crushed and stunned. So it was an amazing release of emotions on both sides. And, you know, just to see Max Nikias, the president of the university, I've never seen him that excited after a win. Pat Hayden, the athletic director, lost his voice. Lane Kiffin, you know, he was happy. He tried to look cool, but he was happy. And
he cracked a smile?
Yeah, sort of.
A semi-smile?
Yes. And the players were, you know, just so happy, and it was amazing. It really did feel like, you know, 5-6 years ago.
Right.
So kind of a glimpse of the glory days.
Do you think fans will appreciate Lane Kiffin more that he beat Oregon?
I definitely think that's the case. We had talked about him not having a signature win, and Matt Barkley too. Definitely, this is a signature win. You know, I think this is the biggest regular season win in 6 years since the Bush push game against Notre Dame, which you probably weren't happy about. Well, you didn't care then, but you became a Notre Dame fan lately. But definitely, that's the kind of win that the program remembers for a long time. And this is kind of funny. Robert Woods told me that when he went to class yesterday, the students cheered when he walked into the room. So that had not happened to him before. So that just shows you everybody around here and all the USC fans out there are so excited. So you definitely feel that electricity now, like this week, like, you know, USC might be back. You know, they're ranked 10th in the nation. So there's a lot of good feelings right now surrounding the whole program.
Do you think those good feelings are going to continue into Saturday against UCLA, or are you a bit worried that maybe coming off of this huge win against Oregon that they're going to kind of fall flat against UCLA?
I think it definitely would be easy to play flat. I think what helps is this is the crosstown rivalry game, so that's a big plus because that kind of gets you going on its own, even if both teams were 0-10 going into the game. So that's a big plus. But I also think USC, under Pete Carroll, and even under Lane Kiffin, they've done a good job of not getting too high or low for games. So I really don't expect them to be flat for this game. You know, I don't know, you could maybe argue Oregon was a little flat after they beat Stanford, huge win. And they came out and played pretty flat in the first quarter of that game the other night. But I don't think SC is going to do that. They're going to be at home. It's the last home game. Might be the last game for Matt Barkley. It's UCLA, so, you know, they don't want to lose that game because as much as that Oregon game brought a lot of goodwill, to lose to UCLA, I think would be equally devastating. And then you'd have to hear every Tom, Dick, and Harry in LA for the next 12 months ripping you for losing to UCLA. So
Right.
there's a ton at stake, even if, SC's on probation. This game still is huge.
Well, Lane Kiffin said, I believe yesterday, that after looking over the video, he said that the team didn't really play up to their potential against Oregon. Do you agree with that? And what can they do against UCLA to get that move up?
I thought it was interesting. He said that because a lot of people were upset with my report card where I grade the team.
Shocker.
Yeah. But it turns out Lane Kiffin and I were on kind of the same wavelength.
Right.
But I think that's actually, in all seriousness, that's him being a coach.
Right.
So he's hypercritical after a game when he watches the film. But, he's so happy they won too. So I think he's willing to accept that. But I think he's looking for a perfect game from his team. And, that's not going to happen, most likely. But that's just a coach. They like to look for things to nitpick about. And there were some things they did wrong, some turnovers and stuff, but that's just part of the game. I mean, you just got to take the whole result at the end, and a win like that is so big that I think you just kind of have to gloss over the little things that went wrong.
Well, what can they improve on for this weekend?
I think, the offense was a little stagnant at times, but Oregon's a good team, so I just think that's part of football. And, the defense played pretty well. They gave up 35 points. It sounds odd sometimes to say that, but,
Right.
I thought the team played pretty well overall. The passing game of Oregon, had some opportunities to exploit the defense, but I didn't feel Darren Thomas, the quarterback, was always accurate enough to hit those receivers.
Yeah.
But, like I said, those are just little things. I really think USC is playing, their best football right now, and they might be the best team in the Pac-12. You can easily make that case right now, and I think they're better than UCLA. So I think if they just go out and play like they're capable of playing, they're going to be fine on Saturday.
Now, do you follow Matt Barkley on Twitter?
No, I don't follow anybody on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You don't. Well,
I'm like you.
what? I follow people.
Do you follow
I don't
Scott
follow
Wolf?
you.
Oh, there you go. See? All right.
Well, Matt Barkley tweeted out yesterday a YouTube video, basically in supporting himself on his quest for the Heisman Trophy.
Okay.
Do you think he could win that?
Yeah, that was interesting because USC made that video.
Yeah.
And I made fun of it a little bit because it's like 11 games in the season, and now we're going to say, hey, everybody, vote for Matt Barkley for the Heisman. And I'm a Heisman voter. So, I thought it was interesting that they did it 1 week, left in the season, but whatever. But I definitely think he's going to skyrocket up in the standings because they do polls every week on the Heisman candidates, and he was 11th last week. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's like in the 5th position, say, this week. And what's interesting is he might have a shot if he has a good game Saturday. He could go to New York for the Heisman ceremony because they'll take 5 guys. So that would be a big honor, I think, for him, even if he doesn't win the Heisman, just to be part of that and experience that and possibly, his last college act. So I definitely think he's in the mix right now. It's funny because everyone forgets that Washington game, he was getting criticized for not having a good game.
Right.
And then you have a big game on national TV against the 4th-ranked team in the nation, and now all of a sudden, hey, he's the Heisman, finalist. So.
A game can change it all.
Yes.
Do you think he'll be back next year?
That is a very difficult question. He talked about this today, and he said he hasn't made any decisions. Lane Kiffin said he thinks Barkley is close to 50-50 on his decision. I think when we've talked about it, I've kind of said 50-50.
Right.
I still think he's leaning towards going pro only because if you look at mock drafts, he is so high on those things that, he could make so much money by going pro. So, I think it's close, though. I really think his family's fine if he stays and comes back. They'd be happy. His brother and sister go to school here. So it's a great situation to come back for 1 more year and be in the national championship conversation.
Right.
They're going to definitely be ranked in the top 5 to 8 next year if he comes back. So there's all that, and then there's the fact that he could be a multi-millionaire and maybe starting in the NFL next season. So that's a very difficult dilemma to have. I think it's about I would say it's 60-40 NFL, but you know, he could be back though. I wouldn't be surprised if he came back. Matt Leinart came back, so anything's possible.
Right, and he's doing so well.
Yes. And I was so happy he came back. Another
I'm
year.
sure you would.
Another year to spend with him. It was so great.
The highlight of your life.
If you'd have been here, you would have known how happy I was.
Yeah.
Luckily, we didn't have videos in those days.
Oh, right. Back when the dinosaurs were in the world.
Yes, and you were a young Notre Dame fan.
All right, so UCLA predictions.
Well, let's see. I think I like to have you predict first, so I'm going to put the pressure on you and make you say the score.
All right. Well, I think I've been doing pretty well with my USC winning by like 21. So I'll just go ahead and throw that number out there.
You're saying a 3-touchdown victory?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they can do it. And it's just your lane.
I tend to agree with you there. So
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
I do.
God, look at that.
I think it's going to be about a 3-touchdown victory too.
Okay.
You know, UCLA has a lot at stake because they
Yeah.
can win the Pac-12 South
Right.
if they win this game, but I just don't see how it can happen. USC has their offense is so explosive right now. I don't see how UCLA is going to stop them, and I think UCLA is going to have a little trouble scoring against USC. So UCLA doesn't have a real explosive passing game. So I do see, unless it's like one of those emotional rivalry games where a lot of weird things happen, I see SC by 21 or maybe even a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. So if they do that, though, it's going to be a huge way to kind of close out the season.
Right, great way to end it.
And Lane Kiffin got a big response yesterday from the fans because he does a Monday morning quarterback meeting over at the Galen Center. So, he's popular now. So if he lost this game, though, you'd see all that popularity would go right out the window.
Mayhem will break out on campus.
No, there won't be any cheering at classes or anything like that.
Throwing of paper instead. No more cheers.
There's a lot of pressure, on these guys when you think about it, because from week to week, people can go up and down. Fans can turn on you in a split second.
Right.
So it's very difficult. That said, I want to mention something while we're here.
All right.
I heard from somebody that you made speaking of the top 10, that you made a top 10. Is that true?
Made a top 10?
Or were a top 10?
Oh yes, top 10 hometown hotties.
Yeah.
We talked about this a couple weeks ago. But actually, if you want to go out and buy the December issue of Maxim magazine, you can see all the top 10 hometown hottie finalists in their lingerie glory. So it's pretty exciting. So go ahead and vote hometownhotties.com till December 5th, then hopefully.
And I assume you're saying that you're wearing lingerie in these photos?
Well, I'm certainly not wearing a San Francisco Giant shirt, I'll tell you that much.
That's why Maxim is not as good as our videos.
Right.
We wear San Francisco Giant shirts.
And you know what? There's videos on hometownhotties.com as well, but
of your shoot?
Of my shoot and just of myself, but I'm not talking about football either. So you'll see a whole new side of me if you go on
I'm sure that the male viewers will be happy to see a whole new side of you on Maxim.com. Yes.
Not speaking and just staring sexually into the camera. Perfect.
Wow. I think that's a good place for us to end this video.
Good place to end. So Saturday, Coliseum at 7 p.m. If you can't be there, check it out on FSN.
Yes, and I hope you are checking it out.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
You might even tailgate, right?
Oh, well, I won't be here.
Oh, okay.
I'll be in Vegas, so I'll be watching the game in Vegas.
Okay. Well, I'll text you to make sure you're watching.
Right, of course.
And then next week we'll have a wrap-up video on the season. We'll review the season.
One more video with the both of us, so enjoy this one. I'm Asia Dang, Scott Wolf. See you